This is issue number 30 for the Kaiju Engine, and we're going to be dealing with build scripts, particularly setting the project name for the new build scripts, and we'll also use this to copy over some of the other build scripts that we're interested in. So the first thing we're going to do is make it so that our build templates here don't have Kaiju as the name. It'll be project name will be what we place there. This is just some strings that we're going to replace when we are creating the project. And this isn't a big old fancy build system, so a simple string replace should be good enough for now. Now, we're not going to replace those when we create the template because the template doesn't have a project name, but we're going to do it for when we create a project. So here we can have an extra step to say if error equals to setup build scripts project name proj template folder string error, then return error. So I don't know why I have a string there. It's like I'm writing the function signature. So one of the things we're going to need is the project name. So that'll have to be passed in. And when we do this project name, we want to make sure that the project name is the end of the path. So we'll say if file path.base path is not equal to project name, return new or return errors.new project name does not match, and project name and path do not match. And now we can create our setup build scripts function here. Func setup build scripts. The build directory is going to be equal to file path join project, the folder slash build files is going to be equal to file system dot list files recursive in the build directory. If there's an error, return the error. And then we're going to loop through the files. And we're going to say the source is equal to file system.read text file. If there's an error, we're going to exit it. The source is going to be equal to strings.replace all source, and we're going to replace this with the project name there. And then we'll say f error is equal to os create file. Create file. If there's an error, return that. Defer the close. Write string. Yep, that's correct. If there's an error, return that. Cool. So we're going to start off by testing out this if statement to make sure it's working properly. Let's see. That's going to be inside of. Let's just do it in the bootstrap. We'll just say project.create new project test. This should be successful. I'm going to put a breakpoint here and run this. So if we step into, that should be successful. Now if we change this to test 1, 2, 3, 4 and run this, of course I could create a bunch of test functions. That's what they're for, but we're going to get the error. And if I do an absolute path, which is going to be something, I just went and grabbed this /test. This should also be successful because it ends with test. Cool. So now that that's all working, let's just bring this back to Earth with test here. And we're going to want to run our project template to generate it. Now with our project template generated, we're just going to run this code. And it should generate the test project with the build bat. It still has project name. We'll have to see why they're not being. I must have messed up the replace. function. So let's just go to replace oops, source equals source, replace all in source, project name. Make sure I spelled that correct. Oh, I'm trying to create a project that's already made. So I got to delete that tests folder or that test folder. Okay, let's jump. So it didn't have any errors this time. Let's just see. Yeah, there we go. Now it's working. Okay, so now all these say test. Cool. Now while I'm here, I'm actually going to copy these files we just created. So copy those, and inside of build, I'm going to paste those. This is build for the editor, so we're going to add that VS Code tags editor as part of the build flags for all these. And we do have the JS ones. I doubt we're going to build the WebAssembly version of the editor, at least anytime soon, though it would be possible once we have everything said and done to run it in the run the editor inside of a web browser. But it would have a lot of trouble with file system and all that sort of stuff. So it's probably not going to be super important for the start. So there we go. We have the ability to go in and create our build scripts that will produce edito. I'm glad I noticed that. Um, we have the ability to create the build scripts that will generate the appropriate name for the project. Cool. And that's about it. Oh, and also I guess I should change these from test to Kaiju, which is the name of the engine. So cool. All right. Now that's about it.